All right. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. And as you know, but let me introduce to the whole world, I'm Victoria Parker, owner of Hey Girl, Hey Health and Fitness. And this is Girl Talk with Toni Roberts. Hey, girl.
Yes, hey.
So I met Toni, or I'll talk to you now. I met you in the Aligned and Ambitious Collective with the fabulous Taylor Slango, right? That's our
Yes,
girl, Tay Tay, Tay Tay.
hey.
And when I watched you, I was just like, you came in the group after I did, and you just came in there like boots to the ground running. And I was like, look at her sprinkling with all the magic. Yes. And I just was so impressed by your ambition, by your focus,
Thank
by your willingness to just put it out there and just, try it. And then if it didn't work, we'll transition on and try something else. Because that's not my personality and that's something I'm having to learn in this entrepreneurship journey. So I really was in awe of that. And so I wanted to bring you onto Girl Talk today to talk about transitioning and talk about, rebranding yourself and what it is you want to do in your life. So that's going to be our overarching topic. But before we get into that, I'd like for you to introduce yourself to the world officially.
Yeah, so I'm Toni Roberts, and I am a digital business development and marketing coach. I have been in digital marketing for about 14 years. I have been infatuated with everything digital and social media marketing since I graduated high school. And I've been on this entrepreneurial roller coaster. But I just got serious about really building out my brand 3 years ago. I'm the CEO and founder of Beauty into Bank LLC, which is another leg of my company, which focuses on teaching beauty influencers and beauty pros how to develop personal brands and market themselves online. And I have recently gone through a transition, and we can talk about that. I don't know if you want me to just go ahead into that, or you're going to ask me questions about it.
No, you can go ahead, go right into it. That's fine.
So I have recently transitioned to focusing on helping beauty influencers and creative entrepreneurs. So I started my brand Beauty into Bank at the end of 2017, going into the beginning of 2018, because I really noticed there was a gap in the beauty influencer space. There was not really good resources and good, guidance for influencers to teach them how to grow their personal brand. So I wanted to focus on that and help YouTubers and like content creators and bloggers. So I developed my brand and I created all of my content around that for the past 3 years. And then recently, at the beginning of 2020, I began to have this little inkling about, I was feeling really, really restricted about just focusing on beauty influencers. And I kind of like ignored it and I pushed it to the side. I'm like, no, you don't have to, and I just pushed it to the side. But here recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just made the announcement that I am transitioning to open myself up more to influencers and content creators and creative entrepreneurs, because I didn't want to feel like I was pigeonholing myself. And I just felt the call to be more expansive. So I am focusing on taking my personal brand, Toni Roberts, and helping influencers and creative entrepreneurs. But then I also have my company, which is Beauty into Bank LLC, that has that more specific speciality with beauty pros and beauty influencers. So that has been my journey, and I'm learning to just be more expansive and more open about that. I haven't really been talking about it since I had this little inkling back in January, but I was like, I had this powwow session with Taylor, our coach, and she was like, girl, nobody's going to hinder you or fight you for switching your niche. So I was like, okay, we're going to do that. And I just feel so much more better. I feel so empowered. I feel inspired again to create content, because I was in a slump. I didn't know what to talk about. And I just feel so inspired. So yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit. I know you said you talked to Taylor, but like just having that courage really to just say, okay, this is what I'm going to be true to myself. Like talk about a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've always done throughout my life is just people please and try to make people put my own needs and my own desires aside for, the betterment of other people. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I was like, I don't have to put myself in a box. I don't have to deny how I feel. And if I feel like I want to do something, I can just give myself permission to do it and not feel like I'm going to be, I don't know, passed out for it or feel guilty. Right. So I did it, and I'm glad I did, because in hindsight, I just have so much more perspective now. It's like, oh, you can build out your own personal brand as just being more generalized, but you can still have a specific leg. That's something, but a novel idea, Toni, right?
Right.
So,
I think we get caught up too in, like, I know I'm a rule follower. I'm all about, following the rules. And so sometimes we get caught up in what's right and wrong, when really it's you, what's you and what's authentic and what's true to you. So,
exactly. And you got to give yourself, kudos. Thank you so much. You got to give yourself permission to just do what you feel called to do. And I was talking about this on my stories today. If you feel the call to switch niches or to change up your messaging, don't feel like you have to like give a full-blown explanation. Just do it. Like, you announce it to your audience, and if they don't like it, they don't like it, and they'll go about their way. But what's more important is you and your happiness and your ability to create content, and just walk into your true purpose. And I feel like that is really what my true purpose is to just really, I don't know, talk about content creations and building brand, but not specifically pigeonhole myself to just like one industry. So
how empowering that is, though. And you just made me think about Ariel. I don't know if you saw her stories yesterday. Shout out to Ariel with Dream Pro. We're just shouting out all our girls today, huh?
I know, right?
So she made an announcement. She launched a product, one of her products or her courses. I don't know when she launched it for sure, but I think it was supposed to end like next week or something. And she made a decision because she said she felt like she wasn't getting the audience, or there was a lot of people who were kind of being wishy-washy. And she was like, you know what, I'm going to close it on Wednesday. And she made that choice. And I sat there and I like sent her like the clapping hands. How empowering is that for you to give yourself permission to take control of your business or your life or whatever it is that you're trying to do, your family, whatever it is you're trying. How empowering is that when you give yourself permission to say, this is what I want, this is what I need at this moment, and I'm going to do it. Right. And it's going to work.
Exactly. And I give kudos to you, Ariel, if you're watching this, because there's been plenty of times where I've gone into launches and I felt like I wasn't getting the traction or the momentum. But because I've heard coaches say for so long, you got to stick it all the way out to the end, keep showing up. But I'm like, dude, ain't nobody responding. Why I got to keep showing up? Kudos to her.
Right.
Like, we're going to close this off and move on to the next thing.
Right. Well, she said, I have I have a group of women in there that I feel like are committed.
Right.
They're already working. They're already doing their thing. And I don't know if she's met her goal number or not, but she may not have reached that number, but you have what you were looking for, right? Mm-hmm. In that moment. So take that, work with those people and get them to the next level. And that's just going to help it. So people are going to be knocking on her door pretty soon, trying to get into her program. So I appreciate that. I felt inspired by that. And even with you sharing your story and being willing to take a step out and make that transition for yourself. So let's go back. Let's talk about Toni, like back in the day. Like, have you always been like this empowered, just like?
No, I have not. Like, when I was growing up, I had really low self-esteem. Like, I've had a lot of things that I've had to work through to really find myself. I've always been like the one to go with the crowd and not really speak up for what.
Oh, you did say you're a people pleaser too. Yeah, okay.
I'm a people pleaser. So it took me a while to really find my voice and who I was. I was in an abusive relationship for 4 years in my early 20s. So this was from like 19 to like 23, 24. And during that was the most difficult thing I've ever had to experience, being in an abusive relationship. And I'm talking like physically abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive. It was really a lot. And after getting out of that relationship, that really was like the catapult of me, like, okay, this is what my standards are. This is what I'm going to accept. This is what I'm not going to accept. This is what I'm willing to tolerate. This is what I'm not willing to tolerate. And that's what I really like find myself through that relationship. It gave me like the empowerment to really, you know, say what I wanted and do what I want, and really stand for just being more than a people pleaser. And that's when I really found myself when I was around like 24 or 25 when I got out of that relationship.
So you set a standard for yourself, which I think is, I want to talk about that a little bit more, because I know there's a lot of women who, regardless of age, haven't really set a standard or decided what they will and won't accept in their lives, whether it be people, whether it be lifestyles or what have you. So I'd like to spend some time on that and just talk about, you know, making decisions that are productive for you and what you desire.
Yeah, so the reason why I actually made the decision, so the life events. So I don't know if you guys, if you have been following me for a while, but I've talked about it a few times on my IG stories and on my feed. But the reason that I actually was able to get out of that relationship, we ended up getting in trouble together. We did some illegal stuff together, and I went to prison with the person I was involved with. And I always say that going to prison saved my life, because before then I was on a crazy path. Like, I had substance abuse problems, and then I was homeless and living on the street. Like, I've gone through a lot of stuff, and I don't think I would probably still be here if I had not ended up in prison. But the thing about it, when I went to prison, was I didn't do like regular time. I was in like the regular campus for 2 months, and then I got transferred to a rehab, which was like a amazing resort of sorts inside of prison. I didn't even know that it existed, but it was a beautiful resort, like gorgeous. And when I first got there, I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not an addict. I don't have these addictive behaviors with all these people. But boy, they showed me something different, because I was very addictive as far as my codependency. And I didn't have any identity. Like, my identity was always wrapped up in my family or wrapped up in whoever I was with at the time.
Oh, girl, you are preaching to somebody right now. I feel it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I got chill bumps.
So going through that and going through therapy, because we had counseling sessions, we spent all day in therapy and counseling and talking about, you know, how you grew up, and just, you know, getting through the stuff and going through that stuff that you needed to work through in order to really get into a better mental space. And because I actually went and did that time, they didn't transfer me back to campus. They made me stay there. I stayed there for 10 months, and I was in this intense counseling. I was able to really find myself and understand who Toni was outside of any relationship, outside of my family. And when I was getting discharged, I was faced with the decision of having to either go back to my family or go to a halfway house. And thank God I went to a halfway house and got on my feet and actually, you know, began to flourish and thrive on my own. So, sorry, you guys. So that was really like what allowed me to find my empowerment and just stand on my own 2 feet, and also kind of get rid of a lot of the fears that I grew up with. So.
Oh, girl, that is the epitome of a black butterfly story, where you just went into your space and you grew and you flourished and you came out with these beautiful wings. And so kudos to you again for that, because, and that, you know, and I'm glad that you shared that message and you're not ashamed, because a lot of people, when they get to a certain level, but that's what made you, like you said, who you are. Like, those experiences was an unfortunate path, but it was a necessary path to get you to where you needed to be. And so I appreciate you sharing that with us. And I think that is a ministry in itself. And just, you know, that's that transition that I wanted to talk about. That's that getting to the next level. And don't let the things that happened in your past define you, because you could have easily done that and dwelled in that. And I think a lot of people do, but take that, do the work. That was something you said.
Do the work.
Do the work.
A lot of work.
Yeah. And let people help you too.
Yeah. And I believe, and that's one of the core beliefs of my brand. I just did a whole video about this when I was doing my content batching, is about your purpose is in your story. Your purpose is in your story. Everything that you've gone through, all of the life experiences, good or bad, has been for the purpose of you helping somebody else through it, because maybe they don't know how to matriculate through it. Maybe they don't have the support in their, family or everyday life. But if they can connect with you and they see your content online, whether you are a traveler influencer or a beauty influencer, but you're being transparent and you're sharing parts of your story and integrating it into your passion of what you do, that's how you truly impact and transform people's lives. So I've never been ashamed to tell my story, because that's where my true impact comes from. So
right, absolutely. Because now it's like, if she can do it, then I know I can do it. I don't have any excuses. I don't have that history, but I have other history. I don't have that history, so there's no reason that I can't get to the next level, because if she can do it, I can. So
yes, thank you.
sprinkle them, girl, sprinkle them. Okay, so I'm going to lighten it up a little bit.
Okay.
I have a this or that for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so diamonds or pearls?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so I've always had pearls, but I like shiny stuff, so I'm gonna say diamonds.
Diamonds. Okay. All right. So then let's talk about East Coast or West Coast. So I know you're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm from the East Coast, all the way, all the way.
And I'm a West Coast girl, all day.
But I love West Coast music and Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, oh my gosh.
Okay. So we can kick it.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing. So let's talk about a day at the beach or a day in a cabin, like in the mountains somewhere.
Beach.
Beach all day. Beach.
I am a beach girl. Like, I love being out in the sun. One of the going jokes of my family is because I'm the lightest kid that my mom has. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. One is from my dad, but my brothers that I'm close to, they're all really, really dark skinned. And my mom, beautiful dark skin. I'm like, well, why I'm the only one that didn't have dark skin?
You're the high yellow one.
I'm the high yellow one. So every time I go to the beach or go out in the sun, I'm like, I need to get all of the tan. I need to get as dark as possible. So yes.
You can look like the family, like you belong.
I look like I belong.
That's funny. Okay, I have one more for you. One more. Because you're a beauty girl. So flats or heels?
You know what? I'm a flats person. Like,
really, I didn't think that at all.
Nobody. I'm a flats person. I'm glam when it comes to like my makeup, but my style is really like casual, kind of a little bit of tomboyish, a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a flat person all the way. And plus, girl, my knees. Okay.
Right. Let's be real. I told you I'm almost 40. These 40-year-old knees. Right. Okay. I actually have one more question that came to mind that we didn't actually discuss. So I thought maybe it could be beneficial, because you are familiar with, you work with beauty, the beauty industry and beauty entrepreneurs. I know this COVID-19 has caused a lot of issues for people. I have a really good friend who's my hairdresser, who has talked to me a little bit about, what that's looked like for her as a stylist. What are some of the things that you have either shared with people in the industry that could maybe help them in this time of, uncertainty, where if they're back in their shops, they have half the clientele that they had, what are some of the things that you've shared with them?
So one of the biggest things that I've always preached throughout my whole journey in entrepreneur is diversification of income. You can never put all of your eggs in one basket. I am a huge believer in having multiple streams of income to always supplement something that might go out. So I understand what's going on with the pandemic. Your clientele is not as high as it was. One of the things that I take my clients through is developing some type of informational product where you can always serve your existing clientele, but then you can always bring in new clients too, to introduce them into your brand and to your services. So I always say, start some type of digital income stream. And it doesn't have to be very, very complicated. I don't know why people think creating a digital income stream is so complicated. It could just be like, if you are a hairstylist, a natural hairstylist, and you have people that are always asking you about how to retain moisture in their hair or how to style transitioning hair, you can do like a $25 virtual class about moisture retention for natural hair and do some styling on your own hair, or walk them through some styling and products and stuff. And there you go, you have another income stream. So I would definitely lean into developing out your product suite, your income stream, so that you can have supplemental resources.
Okay, and so if someone wanted to work with you, and how could they do that?
So you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Toni Roberts. Right now, I am open enrollment for my one-on-one mentorship. And currently at the time of this taping, I have 5 spots available for my mentorship. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me via DM, or you can tap my bio link and fill out the application for a private.
Okay, do you want to share a little bit what that looks like, what the one-on-one mentoring looks like, just to...
Yeah, so the one-on-one mentorship is a 3-month container where I take you through the process of how to develop your personal brand online. So I'll walk you through my 6-step process, which I call my Beauty into Bank process, of how to map out your personal brand, get clear on your messaging, who you're talking to, who you're serving, and the transformation that you can bring about for your specific audience. Then we go into content strategy as far as how to map out your content, how to map out content that is going to be in conjunction with your income stream. So if you have a holiday promotion coming up, or a launch or something that you've got coming up, I teach you how to do your content strategy for that. And then also talk about your back end and your front end systems. So one of the things that I really am big on is having like a good onboarding experience for your clients. I hate going across like service providers, especially beauty service providers. If I want to book an appointment and I got to DM you and text you and all that, that's too much. So I like to make sure that your back end systems is together as far as your booking, your contracts, if you got to send out contracts. And then we also talk about lead generation processes for your building up your pipeline. And then we build out revenue streams. We build out your active income, your leveraged income, and your passive income. And I talk about that on my page if you're interested in about that. So I have 3 types of income that I actually help you create. And then we actually go into an active launch together. So I'm going to be coaching you through actually launching the income streams that you develop. So it's a whole full process. And it's a 3-month container. So by the end of it, you will actually have your full personal brand mapped out, a full content strategy, a monetization strategy, and actually have gone into your first launch of whatever the income stream that you want to launch together.
Wow, that's good. Now, so do they need to be, can it be a brand new, like I have an idea for a business, or do they need to already have something established?
It can be for a new entrepreneur. If you're new and you want to get that one-on-one guidance and mentorship, you can be new. I would say this is ideally the best fit for those of you who have probably been in the game for a while. So you've been trying to build your business or build out your personal brand for a while. You have gotten a little bit of traction, but you haven't been able to get your income consistent. That would be the best for you, like if you've been for a little bit.
Okay. Well, if that is you, hit up our girl, because she can definitely get you to the next level. And Toni, I just want to thank you so much for sharing with me and for being a part of Girl Talk. I hope you had a good time.
I did. This was so fun. I love this.
Yeah, I hope my kids, they're like going in. I don't know if you could hear them.
Oh, it's okay. I have 2 dogs out here sniffing really hard at my door, and I was like, I hope she cannot hear them. Like they're
I didn't hear them.
Okay.
I didn't hear them. My kids, like, as soon as I hit end record here, I'm about to go in there and go ham. So
okay.
But yes, thank you, girls, so much. I'll make sure I tag you, and we'll get you so folks can get connected with you and take part in all of your magic, because you are doing it. And I want to say thank you for being a great inspiration to me and for encouraging me to keep going, even though, the roadblocks come up. Like I get so much motivation and inspiration from your journey. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. I totally appreciate this. It was super fun. And I
Of
love
course.
that you're doing this. Like, this is definitely needed, especially in what we're going through right now.
Yes, girl. Well, before we go, I need to get a hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey.
All right, girl. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.